How to answer call center interview questions. Do you ever find yourself having a hard time answering an interview question? Here's a trick that I use. You just need a pen and some paper. It'll take 5 minutes or less. Step 1. Define the question. What is the question? Step 2. Write down 10 possible answers. You can also include elements of your answer. Don't think about it too much and just write it. You'll edit later. You can add more. The idea is just to get ideas on paper so that you can decide better what to include. Step 3. Study your answer. Review it carefully. What do you like about your answer? What do you think works? What sounds good to you? What can you remove? What is the best way to say it? Step 4. Select 2 to 3 important elements. What do you consider to be the best from your list? Use that for your answer. How to answer common interview questions. Here's how you can answer the 4 most common call center interview questions. Tell me something about yourself. I start by writing what information comes to mind. Elements about myself include my name is Kevin Olega. I live in Parañaque. I work in sales. I enjoy blogging. I enjoy traveling. I enjoy taking my bike around the city or out of town. I recently learned how to cook from celebrity chef Jamie Oliver, Gordon Ramsay, Heston Blumenthal, and Tim Ferriss. I'm a CrossFit guy, I'm a life hacker, I'm a martial artist. So here's what I include in the interview. My name is Kevin, I live in Parañaque. I work in sales. I spend my free time blogging, traveling, riding my bike, and participating in CrossFit activities. Note, I don't tell them too much. If I'm in an interview, I wait for them to ask what they are interested in so I can elaborate on it. Everything I say functions as a preview. Why do you want to work in a call center? So, why do I want to work in a call center? I enjoy talking on the phone. I don't mind working at night. In fact, working at night is to my advantage. I know that call center jobs pay higher than regular local companies. I know that reputable call center companies provide good benefits, even to entry-level employees. And I know that well-known call center companies pay on time. I know that call center work is not for everyone, and a lot of people quit the job. That means that I get a higher chance of career advancement and opportunity. I speak in English well. So, to borrow a local saying, laway lang ang puhunan. It's a job that only requires that you speak on a regular basis. I enjoy solving problems. I like the fact that although everyone can get hired potentially in a call center, not everyone will stay in the company long term. I know myself very well, and I'm the type of person who sticks around when things get tough. The job requires creativity, confidence, and determination. And if you don't have all three, you're out. Fortunately, after many failures and difficulties, I have developed all three traits. And I'm 100% that I can give you great value for your investment. So, some of my answers are negative, some of my answers are positive. I start with what I get from working in a call center because that's the truth. We all work for money. Call center companies pay well. They know it, and they know that we know it. Giving answers like make a contribution to the organization comes off as phony or plastic. Here's what I talk about when I get asked why I want to work in a call center. I want to work in a call center because I know that good call center companies have a reputation to pay well. The benefits are usually better than working for a regular company. They pay on time and there are opportunities for advancement. What are your strengths? Also, ask us why should we hire you or what can you contribute to our company or what makes you special? What makes you an asset to the organization? So, this is my list. This isn't something that I tell them, but this is my personal list of my strengths. So I speak in English well. I've developed this over the years. I enjoy reading. I enjoy solving problems. I enjoy learning new skills. I am self motivated. I direct myself to do what needs to be done. I do not need instructions to get me started to doing something that is good for me. I have a can do attitude. I'm positive that every problem has a solution. I continuously improve. Every skill that I'm good at is a skill that I am previously bad at. I'm a master of copying. Every skill that I have is learned from someone who is excellent at what they do. I spend my time with the right people. I make an effort to be where I learn. I make an effort to be in a position where I am close to people who are better and smarter than me. And as a consequence, I begin to learn from them. I have good understanding of my strengths and my weaknesses. I study myself. I write lists of things that I can do. I write lists of things that I can't do yet and convert that list into things I'd like to do and or study. I understand customer service. I have sales skills. I can ask people about their needs and problems, communicate the possibility of my product or service, assisting them and encouraging them to take positive action. I know how to cook. I know that if you follow a recipe steps and use the right ingredients, you can copy a specific dish or result. This doesn't just apply to cooking, the same process applies to real life. I know martial arts, and I know that learning skills involve imitating what works and practicing it regularly, and I will get good results over time. I'm a gamer. I know that everyone starts at low levels, and as I keep playing, I get better, and so does my abilities. Eventually, I'll play in higher levels. I know how to draw. I know that copying best practices and a lot of practice. I know that copying best practices and lots of practice is the key to getting better. I'm a writer. I know that learning things require that you test a lot of things to discover what works and what doesn't work. I also learn to appreciate the practice of editing. I'm a life hacker. I use tools and techniques from smart people to get things done. I'm a minimalist. I know how to focus on the important and ignore the unimportant. If none of these are your strengths, I encourage you to make it your life goal to make these strengths part of your list. Part of your list. You can't go through life with such a disability. So here's how I answer this question. So people tell me I'm good at talking to clients and making them open up. I approach my work like a gamer. I study the rules, I learn what I need to learn, and just get to work. Um, so, an alternate answer is I'm a shy person by nature. I don't like to brag about my strengths. Instead, I what I do is I talk about what nice things other people tell me about myself. So, an example of this is I start my answer with my boss tells me that he found me great at insert task. Then I transition into a story. What are your weaknesses? Also ask us why shouldn't we hire you? All of my current strengths are often last year's weakness. I was usually tardy for the most important events in my life until I decided to give myself a large allowance of time for my appointments. These days, I don't overcommit, so I don't overextend. I was a hoarder until I realized that the more I had, the less I can use because time and attention is limited. I'm now a minimalist. I didn't know how to draw until I spent more time with people who can draw well. I was physically weak and unfit until I decided to spend time with people who are healthy and had bodies that I envy. I didn't know how to cook or anything about food until I spent time with people with high standards when it came to food. I didn't have good English before. My English scores were barely passing. Then I began to watch English cartoons and TV shows. I loved them so much, I began to imitate how they talk. Unfortunately, this is bad advice for adults. So if you're an adult, you shouldn't spend your time watching English cartoons. This was grade 5 until college. So grade 5, grade 6, um, grade 5, grade 6, first year college, second, third, fourth. I mean, yeah, fourth year high school, and then 1 year of college. So this happened over a period of 6 years. So that if you're going to watch English cartoons to be better at English, expect to take as much as 6 years. So I was bad in sales before, but I learned from people who can sell well. I just studied parts of what they did and just imitated the steps. I was bad at a lot of things, but after I do a voluntary study, whatever it is that other people can do, I can do it too. So I didn't have people skills. I was so horrible. I failed call center interviews despite already having almost perfect English. My communication skills were that bad. And then I spent time with people who had great communication skills. I'm not really good at anything. I'm just good at copying. So here's how I answer this question in an interview. I have I have a hard time answering this question because every skill that I am currently good at right now, like everything I'm proud of, everything that people say I do well, is in reality a skill that I'm terrible at or horrible at in the past couple of years. So the Kevin Olega that you see right now is way different from last year's Kevin Olega. And I imagine next year's Kevin Olega will be different too. So sometimes you can just copy an element from my list. So in some situations, you can take what it means. So just at the end, you summarize it and just use the elements as the examples. That's a breakdown of how I answer the most common interview questions. An important element to all my interview answers is that all of my answers are true. So I have a story to back up every single thing that I say. And that's why I encourage everyone to begin writing about themselves. What you can do is you can make a list of interesting stories about your life. And then when you have the time, try to write the actual story. Try to include as many details as possible. And if you don't have a lot of time, start with an outline and try telling the story. Try telling the story to a friend. Like show your friend a list of your stories, and so this is a story about the time that I got fired. This is a story about the time where I looked for a job and I failed. This is a story about the time where we failed the project. This is a story about the time where I had a fight with my dad or with my mom. I got kicked out of the house, so on and so forth. So make a list of all these stories and start telling them to people. Because, and by the way, when you make your list of stories, include both the good and the bad stories because you'll never know. The right story will change your life, and the right story will give you access to the right opportunity. So it's incredibly important to master your ability to tell stories. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer when I'm logged in. When you get the chance, please visit callcentertrainingtips.com. We have over 200 lessons and activities that you can study to help improve your skills. So that's it. I'll talk to you some other time. Bye bye.